So it's just been announced that the Hawks and the Hornets will be playing each other in the play-in game. Honestly, a really interesting matchup because I believe both the Hornets and the Hawks are capable of stealing the 8th seed from either the Nets and especially the injured Cavaliers. So in today's video, I'll just be discussing who I think will win the game. First, I'm going to talk about the Hawks' chances of winning, then the Hornets' chances of winning. Then at the end, I'm going to talk about who I predict to actually win the game. But before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, if you want to reach my goal of 3,000 subscribers, also drop a comment on this video as I do respond to all of my comments, and play on that intro.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
To start the video off, I'm going to talk about the Hawks' chances of winning the game. The Hawks have definitely had a down year compared to last year. Last year, they were a 5th seed, a team that made it all the way to the conference finals, a team that looked like a team that could actually make it to the finals next year. But now this year, they're the 9th seed. They're in the play-in tournament. And even though they haven't been as good this season, for the most part, they still have the exact same roster that they had last year, meaning that they're technically capable of playing that elite brand of basketball that they played before to make it all the way to the conference finals. In a game like this, Trae Young is not someone who I would want to face. He's a player who always steps up when the lights are at his brightest. Just look at his playoff run last year. He's always going to be the best player on the court in this game, which is a huge advantage for the Hawks. If your team has the best player, you have a really good chance to win, especially when the rosters are very similar, like in this matchup. And on top of having Trae Young, they have a lot of supporting guys who can step up and have a big game. Guys like John Collins, DeAndre Hunter, Bogdan Bogdanovic, Kevin Huerter, even Danilo Gallinari are all capable of having a big game. The Hawks are also just one of the best offensive teams in the NBA, and if they have a game where they're hitting their threes, they're a really hard team to guard. The Hawks have had the 6th best offensive rating this season. The defensive end of the floor is something that's way different for the Hawks, as the Hawks are actually one of the worst defenses in the league. They're like the 4th worst defense in the league. Obviously, if they were healthier, they probably would have been better, but still they're technically like a bad defense, so they probably won't be able to guard the Hornets that well. Overall, the Hawks just have a really strong chance just due to the fact that they have Trae Young, who for sure will come up big in a game like this. Then they, on top of that, they have like a bunch of other players who can step up in the game. Hawks are to be feared in a game like this. Next, to talk about the Charlotte Hornets, they're definitely underdogs in a game like this, but honestly, I actually think they have a really good chance to win this game as well. Obviously, they have LaMelo Ball, who's a guy who plays pretty well when the lights are at his brightest, and he's a top 10 point guard in the league, just like Trae Young is. He's not better than Trae Young, but it's not impossible to think that LaMelo Ball can outplay Trae Young in a game like this. This roster is also one of the best offenses in the league. Just like the Hawks, they have many guys who I can see having a big game outside of their star point guard. Miles Bridges is a borderline all-star. He can easily go off for 25 points. He literally averaged 20 points this season. Terry Rozier is also a clutch player who can get hot in a game, hit bare threes. Kelly Oubre can have one of his random games hitting 4 or more threes. That could be the difference. Montrezl Harrell will have one of his dominant games in the paint. And if Gordon Hayward plays, he's definitely capable of producing, but it's unlikely he plays. And the Hawks in general are not a good defense, but that's same with the Charlotte Hornets, who are also one of the worst defenses in the league. They're not as bad as the Hawks on defense, but they're still a really, really bad defense. I don't think the Hornets have anyone who you would even hope could guard Trae Young, maybe Cody Martin, but not really. If we're being honest, both these teams are really similar. Both really good offenses and both really bad defenses. Also, both of these teams have multiple guys who can go off in a game like this. But to answer the question of who I think will win, the answer is the Atlanta Hawks. And when I say this was a hard decision, I really do mean that, because these are two teams that don't play defense and rely on their offense. And that's basically what this game is going to come down to: who will shoot better and who will score more. And if it comes down to that, I'd have to go with the Hawks because they just have better shooters. They have the better best player, and they're just not and Trae Young's just not a guy I want to bet against in a game like this. Unless he was versing the Nets or something, or the Bucks, I would not bet against the Hawks. Also, on top of that, I forgot to mention that the Hawks will have home court advantage, and when they're at home, they're actually been pretty good this season. So to be honest, I think this will actually be a really close game, and I wouldn't be surprised if Charlotte won the game, but my prediction is with the Hawks. Anyways, guys, that's it for the video. Let me know who you think's winning this game. Drop a like on this video to help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want daily NBA content. Also, if you want to triple of 3,000 subscribers, also drop a comment on this video as I do respond to all of your comments. Play that intro.